Good evening. I'm now going to read two poems on the establishment, and they were prompted by reading Owen Jones's book of the same name, or The Establishment. I read that book from cover to cover. Not a lot was particularly new for me in there, and the only comment I continually made was that it's clear that Owen Jones himself is part of the establishment. That's the only problem he really has. But anyway, that's an opinion. So the first of these poems is written in a classical style. It's more like a translation of a classical poem. So forgive me for that. That's just a little bit of mental gymnastics, I guess. The second one is much more normal and actually much more significant, but much more typical of the sort of thing I do, which I know pisses off modern poets, but that's neither here nor there. So, first one, on the establishment. 1. O guardians of the golden gates, hold hard against the hungry hordes, pushing at the portal of power, lest the excluded enter the establishment. Let those qualified by birth be brought before their brethren, lest the holy be hindered by the humble, for they shall become the masters. Let those qualified by faith prostrate themselves at the altar of acceptability, lest our church chastise the chosen, for they shall become our chaplains. Let those qualified by might show the strength of their submission, lest they reflect upon rebellion, for they shall become our guardians. Let those qualified by wealth be accredited by accountants and actuaries, that the masters be richly rewarded, for they shall become our financiers. Let those qualified by education elucidate their erudition, lest our leaders lack lucidity, for they shall become our experts. Let those qualified by creative merit consent to be censored, lest the consensus be contested, for they shall become our communicators. Let those qualified by election be revered by all, regardless of affiliation, for they create credibility for the masters, for they shall become our legislators. Let those that transgress due to disregard of these directives be imprisoned in perpetual purgatory, that the population be appraised of our power. Let there be beauty beyond the gates, and let the people perceive progress, that we may better conserve our status, unperturbed by universal suffrage. Let the writer of these words be unique among our number, that he may manipulate the message of the masters. Let him profit from poetic and literary license. Not much hope of that. So here's number 2, on the establishment, number 2, which I say is much more in my usual run-of-the-mill rejected style. The masters meet within the gates, the horde outside impatient waits for a glimpse or glance of the ruling class. Establishment elders before them pass, wending their way to weave their word into the text that may be heard by the masters in the meeting room that deliberate on others' doom. They decide on how the future's planned in every town, in every land, what can be thought, what can be said, what can be bought, what can be paid. They recompense for service versed. They penalise the private purse and humiliate the many men that live their lives to be like them. The masters of the universe, plunderers of the public purse, let harangue the humble human herd that hang upon their every word, who cannot count the tax they've paid, nor can they touch the wealth they've made. Desire may drive them to distraction, pure envy pushes them to action. But their actions bring just minor change, analysis falls beyond their range. They sadly seem to stimulate the system they should surely hate. It matters not to some above what those below may know or love. Their lust for power propels them on as a mirage to the hangers-on. The mirage is by media mounted, that all may be by crown appointed, if not unto the meeting room, then through the gates beyond the gloom. This poor pretense that denies the fate of most that stand outside and wait. The pursuit of power penetrates those it tries to emasculate. But wait, we hear dissenting voice that makes awake fair freedom's choice, those outraged by this status quo, that refuse to follow the ebb and flow, that accept to row against the tide, that fight against the class divide, that think all men should equal be, regardless of the majority. Republic, raise your rational head, that might by right might soon be dead, that birth build not a power base, that good be seen in gentle grace. Burst wide the gates, reduce the fear, the time of freedom now is near, when humankind will see at last the need to break with our tribal past. Thank you very much. Should add that that was written at HMP Highpoint in 2015. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.